Your daughter isn't old enough anyways. Soon. He has a young daughter, she's 2. But like she's not shopping for prom dresses. Nate, put the phone away.
If you are those people who start early.
If I see it again, I'll take it. Okay? Whoa. So, Mia, do you have the PowerPoint up, hun? Alright, here we go. Introduction to sonnets. So, what on earth is a sonnet? Okay? A sonnet is a structured type of poetry where the author attempts to relate 2 different things, okay? So a lot of the times what's happening in a sonnet is, there's a famous one by Shakespeare that's, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Okay, so he's comparing love to a nice summer warm day, alright? Sometimes he compares love to death. It's like a metaphor usually in the sonnets, and they're comparing 2 things. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So, a Shakespearean sonnet is one type of sonnet, okay? Sonnets are typically always 14 lines. How many lines?
14.
14, okay? They're structured in different ways depending on the sonnet. So, in Shakespearean, it's written in iambic pentameter. Malachi, do you remember what that is? Boom, boom. There's a hint, Malachi. There's a hint.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Tony.
It's the rhythm.
The rhythm, the notes go up and down. Aiden.
Every other syllable is emphasized.
Yes, every other syllable is stressed. Okay? So think of the word grammar. Grammar. Right? You emphasize the gram, and then the mer is not emphasized. Really? That's what we're doing? Okay? So that's the different types of stresses, and when an author puts them together, where they're alternating, it creates a ba-boom, da-da-da-da type of format. Creates a rhythm, okay? Think about this, guys. Where do you encounter the most poetry?
Shakespeare. English class.
Music in real day life. You guys listen to the most poetry and encounter the most poetry than any other generation in history. Am I right?
No.
How many hours a day do you have your headphones on listening to music? At least 4, right? So that's 4 hours of poetry. They didn't have the music to create the rhythm. So therefore, they have things like iambic pentameter. Okay? Hold on, can I get through this one more too? Okay. So this is where it gets tricky. So in a Shakespearean sonnet, the form looks like this. Okay? It is 3 quatrains. What is quattro in Spanish? Okay, quatrain, how many lines can you guess? 4, okay? So 3 quatrains and a couplet. How many is a couple? 2. Okay, so how many lines are there in a couplet? 2. We're doing good, guys. We're doing good, okay? So the Shakespearean, it has quatrain, 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 couplet, okay? Remember 14 lines? That adds up to 14, right? I'm no math expert, but I'm pretty sure. So it says each quatrain is 1 unit of thought in the poem, similar to how you would write a paragraph. Okay? So this is 1 thought, this is 1 thought, 1 thought, and then this is your conclusion. Think of it as like an essay. It's the easiest way I can think of it. Okay, in a sonnet. It also talks about the rhyme scheme. It's A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Do you guys know what rhyme scheme is? Okay, we're going to review the next slide. So, the other thing you need to know about the Shakespearean sonnet is there is a volta. Has anyone ever heard the term volta?
Seems familiar.
Okay. Yes, so it's a turn. It's a change in thought. So every sonnet has a volta or a change where they switch from one idea to the next, okay? There's always one, okay? In the Shakespearean, it's typically right around this area, right before the couplet. So the 12 lines, bless you guys, the 12 lines before the couplet are presenting an idea, a question, a proposal. And the next 2 lines are concluding that, okay? So the change in thought is right here, all right? And you will...
Only 2 more lines to...
It's usually like a conclusion. I'll show you an example and you'll get it, okay? The ending couplet rhymes and comments on the preceding 3 lines, okay? So these 2 rhyme, so it would be like free and tree, something like that. Does that make sense? You with me? We good? Does this make sense? Okay. Let's look at rhyme scheme now. Actually, no, let's look at form, I'm sorry. So I kind of laid it out for you, but this is what the sonnet will look like, right? You have your A-B rhyme scheme format. Ooh. In your 3 quatrains, you have your volta or the turn. and your rhyming couplet. Okay, how it's formed. So here's an example. So this is a Shakespeare, classic Shakespeare. Bless you. So follow along as I read. Okay. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight, there in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go, my mistress when she walks treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love is rare as any as she belied with false compare. Okay? So is this like a nice poem?
No.
No, what's he doing?
He's insulting her a lot.
Yeah, he's almost insulting her, right? He's like, coral is far more red than her lips. So, like, her lips are not as pretty as coral, right? And hairs, if hairs are wires, black wires grow out of her head. He talks about her breath is stanky. He talks about how he doesn't see roses in her cheeks. He's making fun of the classic lips on it, right? Of like, oh, my love. He's making fun of it. And even though this mistress, or this love of his life, is drop dead ugly, okay? What does he say at the bottom? Aiden?
Yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she held with false compares.
So what does that mean?
It means, like, she's, like, beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, he still loves her, right? He's like, this love is real, okay? So, Mary, did you see how he's talking about this and then it concludes in the two lines?
Yeah.
You can easily tell when the conclusion wraps up, okay? It's gonna wrap up the thoughts ahead. So, let's look at rhyme scheme. Okay. When you guys look at rhyme scheme, do you know where to look when you're looking for rhyme scheme? Where?
At the end.
The very last word. Okay, Mian. So, what is the last word of the first line? Okay, what's the last word of the second line? Do they rhyme? No. So, you would label this line A. First letter in the alphabet, right? It doesn't rhyme with anything above it. Red, Mia just said it did not rhyme with sun. So that's going to be B, because it's a new rhyme. Okay, Mia, does dun rhyme with sun? So what are we going to label this line? A, good. Does head rhyme with dun or red?
It rhymes with red.
Good, so what are we going to label that one? Good. So do you guys see how we're doing that? Okay. Every time you have a new rhyme, you're going to label it a new word. Okay? Any questions?
Wait, so every time you have a new rhyme,
You label it a different letter. So for example, the word white. Does that rhyme with any of our last words before? Sun, red, dun, or head?
no.
No. So it can't be A, B, A, or B. It has to be a new letter, C.
But if we had done like a word that rhymed with sun, could it have been A?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. If a word that rhymes throughout, it has the same sound as that, you're going to label it that.
I was just curious because it was A, B, C, D, C, D. Like,
So remember, in this particular sonnet form, it's always that rhyme scheme. Okay? In any other poetic form, you don't have to follow the same format. It's only a sonnet, a Shakespearean sonnet.
we have to like actually write it in Shakespeare. That's rough.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine, I promise. Yeah.
How are we gonna use this in actual life?
So,
Like if I cannot
Thanks
apply
for
to
being the
anything I'll ever
leader
do,
for
I
us.
just don't.
You're not supposed to use it, it's just a requirement.
so
We're about to get the state requires you.
let's see, recording. So, do you want to know my? Okay, this is what I told my sophomores. Are you ever going to have to analyze a sonnet in life? Probably not. But you've got 3 more years in high school. Okay, this is supposed to be how you were supposed to have been working with poetry since 6th grade. Every year from now on, your teachers are not going to address things like this, right? So for me to teach you and the sophomores this, you need to have it for your junior and senior year. Okay, because no longer does it get explained. No longer does your teacher go over an argumentative essay format with you. Does that make sense? It gets harder and more advanced. There's less guidance.
This I would.
You need the base for the following few years. Okay? Yes, because you will deal with poetry and sonnets. However, will you ever analyze a sonnet in the real world? Not necessarily, but will you encounter music? You're a musician, right? One of my other sophomores who writes raps, he really liked this because he felt like it helped him
question as like this stuff.
Going back through and reviewing.
Yeah.
It depends on the teacher. I was talking to my mentor, and when she does poetry with her juniors, she doesn't review the formats.
No, is your new person gonna do it?
I don't know. Again, it would depend on the class. You guys are supposed to have been doing this stuff since 6th grade.
Yeah, I have not done a single thing.
With poetry. That's why I'm reviewing it, because I think that we need it. Right?
I'm happy.
Okay. So, rhyme scheme you absolutely need to know, because when you guys get to CASP testing as juniors and you take your SATs or your ACTs, you will have to be like, what is the rhyme scheme of this? You will get questions like that, okay? So we're only hitting poetry for 3 days, okay? I just want you guys to have a basic knowledge so you can get that stuff right and you know how to address it, okay? So, Petrarchan or Italian. This is the second type of sonnet form. Okay, are you with me? Okay. So, what's different about the Petrarchan or the Italian is it's still 14 lines, okay, but it's formatted differently and has a different rhyme scheme. So the rhyme scheme in this one is abba abba, CD CD CD. So there's no longer that couplet at the end, and it doesn't alternate lines. It goes A, 2 and 3 rhyme. A rhymes with line number 1. So it's also broken up differently. So, you know how I wrote that the Shakespearean was 4, 4, 4, and 2? This one is 8 and 6. Okay, so basically it's like 2 body paragraphs of an essay. I don't remember. This came out
so
of...
complicated.
Well, this was... Think about it this way, guys. You guys slide into each other's DMs, right? Back in the day, you would hit someone with a love sonnet. Language has developed, okay? This was how people expressed their love to each other, was sending someone a love sonnet.
And it's super complicated.
Yes.
English.
It was traditional in the time period. So in England, Nate, it was traditional to send a love sonnet, okay? Just like it's tradition to for your future husband to ask your father for your hand in marriage, right? Traditions are really strong. Proposing to your future fiance?
We should practice sliding into the DMs.
I think you guys have plenty of practice with that. Okay?
Not as much as you.
Alright, bring it back. 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you. Okay. So we have our octave and our sestet. That's academic language you need to know for poetry in the future. Octopus, 8 arms, right? Octomom, 8 kids. Here's two, I'm sure about her. Sestet, okay? Ses, the root means 6. So you're going to have one stanza or one portion that has 8 lines and 6. Just like in the Shakespearean where you clearly saw a change in the last 2 lines, you will clearly see a change in the second 6 lines, okay? It's literally like an essay. Like you're going to see a topic change, okay? Yes, it's like miniature, basically. So, the 9th line is the volta, signifying a change in rhyme pattern. So that first line of the second portion of the sestet, that's your change. You'll see it. Again, that's called a volta.
How many lines does the sestet have?
6.
And then what was that other thing? Volta, what?
The volta is the turn, remember? We learned it in the Shakespearean. So this is how it would be formed, right? Your first 8 lines would have that rhyme scheme, and your second 6 lines would have this rhyme scheme, okay? So the volta or the turn would be somewhere right here.
And what did Shakespeare write?
Shakespearean.
Obviously.
This is our 3rd and last.
It's like, I'm just
But wait,
kind
you
of
don't
nuts
have
and make up my whole different style.
Well, it was called English, basically, and he basically kind of was like the pioneer of that. Yeah. So then there's Spenserian, who was founded by Edward Spencer, bleh. It complicates both. So if you were confused, this guy was like, I'm going to make it more confusing for you. So basically what it does is it takes Shakespearean format, which was what, Mary? Do you remember the form of Shakespearean? 4, 2. Good. Okay. So it takes that form, but it mixes up the rhyme schemes. Okay. So it's A, B, A, B, B, C, B, C, C, D, C, D, E, E. It's just a couple different types of rhyme schemes, but it's more like the
That's like
Italian sonnets rhyme scheme. Huh? this is from like the 1600s. This was like the OG love letter. This was the OG DM slide. Okay, basically.
So many abbreviations.
This is like the same
So many
thing
choices.
as Shakespeare. This just has an extra 4 before it.
No. It has the same exact format with the 12 and the 2. So the quatrains and then the couplet. It's gonna have a different rhyme scheme though.
But you said that Shakespeare is 442. That's 8, 9, 10 lines.
I'm sorry, 4442. Remember, they all have 14 lines. There's a couple of poets that go against the format and they have like 16 lines, but it's still very sticking to the traditional form. Mia, Aiden, you with me? Okay. Yeah.
What is Shakespearean again? Is it A, B, C, D, C, D, G, G?
What does it say in the PowerPoint? Do you have it up?
I have the notes.
Okay.
I don't see the difference.
The rhyme scheme is different. That's it.
Look at,
But no, it's not though. Because
So again, look.
Oh,
A, B, and then B again.
So look at the rhyme scheme, Mary. So for Shakespeare, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G. So it's a new rhyme every single stanza. Then you go to the Spenserian. It is A, B, C, C, D, E.
Do you have an example, or?
I can find one for you.
Because I see it now.
We're gonna do a whole worksheet with it. Okay. So I'll show you guys some examples. So does that make sense, Mary? So instead of this being a new rhyme as a D, it's going to be a repeat of this rhyme. Okay. Okay. So if we go back to our example, so this is A, B, C, D. This is Shakespearean, right? So if we wanted to make it Spenserian, Shakespearean, we would need this to be a B, right? So we would come up here, and it was the ed. So we would need to change this red and full of lead.
Or it could be demasked, white, and red.
Yes. Do you see that?
yes.
Okay. Are we good? Tap that. Okay. So what you are going to do now is
Would you mind bringing it afterwards?
you want this printed? Yeah, I'll print it for you. Let me review it really quick and then I'll print it. Okay. So okay. So the directions, you're going to read the following sonnet and answer the accompanying questions, all right? So you are going to have you're going to read a couple different sonnets and answer the questions, okay? So let's do number 1 together. Follow along. You want me to wait for you? Okay. Reach. When feeling out of sight for the ends of being in ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn for praise. I love thee with a passion put to use in my old days and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seemed to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all of my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Okay? What is this poem about? What's this sonnet about? Caleb? So it's written by a woman, I will say. I don't want you guys to find the author because they can just Google things. Okay, so it's about someone that she loves, right? And what is she talking about this love? How is she describing it?
Like, almost like uncontrollable, or like not even death connected.
Yes, and that's the main point of this, right? She's saying, does her love die at death?
No.
It lives on in the afterlife. It's eternal. Okay, good. So, what is the sonnet type? Explain how you know. So what I would do first is try to find the volta. Okay, is this an 8 and 6, or does it end in the couplet? All right. Also, what's the rhyme scheme like? So one easy way to do the rhyme scheme here is to do it in colors. So ways. Okay. Height. Malachi, does height rhyme with ways?
No.
Mia, does sight rhyme with ways or height?
No. Oh yeah, it rhymes with
Height.
height.
Okay, so I'm going to make it red. Does grace rhymes with ways?
Yes.
So,
Well, it has the
oh, you have to remember, some of these poems are written in like 1600. So some of the words we pronounce, like again, was again. Okay? They're going to be written differently. And there's something called slant rhyme, which is when words end the same, they don't necessarily have to have the exact same sound. Okay? Yeah, so as long as it's close enough, it can still be categorized as a rhyme. So that is something I would do to help you guys figure out the rhyme scheme. I may have already figured out the answer for you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is sorry about this. Why is this?
I'll have to read it.
Why is
I'll have to react to it, okay?
Italian.
All right, what is the rhyme scheme? The rhyme scheme should be something like A, B, 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 something like that, okay? I don't need you to explain what it means. I just need the letters. And identify the turning point or the volta. What I want you to do is tell me what line do you see the change, okay? What line do you see the adjustment to either the conclusion or the final thought on the topic presented?